Blair McDonald got his start as a drummer in punk bands in the 1980s. Since then, he's had a long career in music publishing, working for, amongst others, Virgin Music, Columbia and Network. And he joins us now. I wonder, how do you get from drumming in a punk band to a career in music labels?
Right, well that's a long story, probably longer than we have to go through here. But the shortened version is I left Paisley, which is where I grew up, and was playing in bands there and in Glasgow for a few years. Moved down to London where I had some friends who had a flat where I knew I could sleep on the floor for a while, with a view to maybe becoming a professional drummer. Given that, of course, in London the streets are paved with gold, and of course they weren't, so I had to find some way to pay some rent, and ended up getting a job. I just wrote some letters. It was before the days of music industry education and courses, so I had to just write letters with everybody else, and luckily enough, Virgin Records had somebody left the mailroom the day after my letter arrived, and as fate would have it, I got the job in the mailroom at Virgin Records, and from there I became a talent scout for the label, and then a song plugger for the publishing company, and then when Virgin was sold, when Richard Branson sold Virgin, I took a job as the head of A&R for Sony Publishing, and so on and so forth, and from Sony Publishing ended up at Columbia Records, which was an amazing experience, and then I've been with the independent label network for 12 years up until just recently, when I've broken off to set up something new.
Well, we'll come to hints about that in a minute, but you must have worked with some amazing names. For a few of us.
Well, yes, of course. I've come into contact and been involved with all sorts of fantastic songwriters and artists and musicians. I mean, at Virgin Publishing back in the beginning, you know, I signed Richard Ashcroft and The Verve, just as they were signing the record deal. Signed an artist that probably most people seeing this won't know, but Tasman Archer, who is a fantastic singer and songwriter, whose songs still do very well all over Europe. And then through Sony, signed Noel Gallagher's publishing when he signed to Creation Records, and with my A&R colleague at Sony, Charlie Pinder, we signed a band called Glass Onion from Glasgow. Mm-hmm. To a publishing development deal, moved them down to London, got them into a flat, got them writing with some people and recording with some producers, and they changed their name to Travis, and we got them a record deal, and they went on to do very well too. And then through the label, I mean, when I was at Columbia Records, and just stop me if this is getting boring, you know, from hanging out backstage at Wembley Arena with Bob Dylan to watching Destiny's Child from the mixing desk with Nile Rodgers, because he was hoping to produce the next Destiny's Child record. Just some, I mean, quite extraordinary moments that now I look back on seem almost unreal. But yeah, it was great times.
Some brilliant experiences. Mm. Is there a way that you can see a band and think, yeah, there's something about you? I mean, is there something that gets your spider sense tingling?
Yeah, I think there is. It doesn't necessarily mean you do something about it immediately. Maybe you still need to reassure yourself and find out more and learn more about the individuals and how they work together and the chemistry of a band. I mean, if it's a songwriter, it's a different process as a publisher. It's a different role because you're much more involved in every part of their day-to-day lives, booking their sessions, setting them up with recording studios so they can write and get their songs recorded. With a band, it's a bit different. There's the chemistry of the different individuals in the band. But yeah, I mean, I think you get a sense, you get a certain sense that there's something a little bit special. It doesn't mean you're always right, and there's so many different elements involved in deciding whether an act or an artist or a band is going to be successful or not. But yeah, I think it's somehow it's about fate, it's about timing, it's about the individuals. But you know, I think in terms of what makes an act or a band that is going to go on to do very well. You know, there are a few elements that have to be there. There has to be a great song.
What do they have to do to catch you as well? That's the other thing. I mean, in XpoNorth, people would really appreciate knowing that is a top tip.
Yeah. It's difficult to say because, of course, there's an ocean of new music, of new songwriters all the time. You know, and lots of them worthy of getting the attention of not just me but other people in the music industry. And I suppose there are filters that from music that gets to me. I mean, obviously I'll be looking through the various bands that are playing here over the next couple of days, but often I'll get a recommendation from a manager that I've worked with in the past or a lawyer that will say that might be a good team to put this writer together with Blair and his team to help develop things. There is no one magical way that everything comes together. It's different every time, genuinely different every time.
Okay, well, bands, I suggest a lasso or beer if you want to get hold of Blair McDonald. Thanks very much indeed.
Thank you.